Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Madals and today I've got game number 1 of a best of 1 coming up. It is a Zerg versus a Zerg, and it should be a really good fun game, so I'm excited to see what's going to be happening. Spawning down in the bottom left position is the red Zerg player, it is IdrA. And his opponent up in the top right, it is the blue Zerg, Tropa. Both these two players very good. I believe currently at the time of casting this, IdrA is in High Master. I don't think he's GM at this time, and I believe Tropa is in GM. Although I could have the other one way around. But yeah, anyway, this is a good game. I can assure you that. I know I've had in the past quite a chunk of criticism that I only cast IdrA games, so we can see him basically rage at people. So I haven't casted one in quite a while, and I waited for one that actually seemed to be a bit of a decent game. Now, I don't know exactly what happened, but to make sure that this was a decent game without spoiling exactly what goes on, I did actually load this up in SC2 Gears just to get a quick rundown of basically see some graphs and things like that about how things go. So, as far as I know, this game should actually be pretty good, and there's some good action, and I hope everyone will therefore enjoy it. And, well, for the moment, things going pretty normal. There's no early pulls, there's no going to be speedling rushes or zergling rushes or anything like that. They're both up to 15. Looking actually quite a lot like it could be hatch firsts. Could still be a 15 pull, there we go. So 15 pull coming out from Tropa. Meanwhile, IdrA is going for a 15 hatch, so just very similar builds. There are some advantages to getting down the spawning pool first. Mainly, you get the queen a bit quicker, which aids in your defense. It also means, though, that you get a lava inject down sooner, and that lava inject does actually allow you to get a couple more units out. The benefit of getting the hatchery first is obviously you get 2 queens out fractionally quicker. Long term, you get a couple more lava. There's pros and cons to both, but generally speaking, most players would agree that going for a hatch first gives you a marginally better economy. But it is marginal, it's nothing major, it doesn't make a huge amount of difference, it's slightly more risky for a little bit of a gain. So those are really the pros and cons. Gas following up for both players, pretty similar timing. IdrA's getting his gas slightly sooner out by about 10 seconds. Not going to make a world of difference there, so everything going pretty much safely. Of course, I am casting this just before I jump into casting WCS EU Challenger. And of course, if you haven't been watching that, you really have been missing out. Last night, from the time of recording, was actually a record-breaking night. For a start, we got the most concurrent viewers in a Challenger League yet. We got to 32,500. Secondly, we also witnessed, and I cast, the longest professional game of StarCraft there has ever been. Or StarCraft 2 anyway. It was 3 hours and 4 minutes. Pretty crazy. We gave away some free pizza. Everything was good. Everyone was happy. So, hatchery. Anyway, coming down. Hatchery finished up for IdrA. All looking good. Double queen, speed, everything going on. Important thing, speed is on its way, but IdrA here, he is still mining with 3 drones in gas. That's 3 more than if he was going for a lot of speedlings or going to try and take a greedy third. However, over the other side, Tropa still doing the same. He's getting down speed and 3 drones mining in gas. What does this mean? Banelings, probable. Quick tech ups, able to be done, and also there's the outlying chance that we'll see a lot of roaches really early, but most likely banelings from both sides unless they're going to be going for something a bit risky. Banelings are safe, and the reason banelings are safe, especially if they're used defensively, is purely because if your opponent runs at you with a ton of speedlings, you can say, banelings, kaboom, I'm safe. As long as you've got good control, it then becomes a micro war. One misstep and your game is over. Pretty much, but banelings just mean that you should be able to get economically ahead because you can defend against a lot of speedlings with, well, like 4 banelings and a handful of speedlings on yourself. You can defend a lot with that. What you got to be careful for is if your opponent's going for some kind of baneling all-in, and then obviously you'll need more. But both players with the spine crawler coming down, they're playing pretty standard macro-orientated ZvZ play. You're going to be fairly safe with this. The spine crawler offers a lot of utility, namely if your opponent sends some banelings in, you can focus a couple down with the queen and the spine, and that's obviously very beneficial just to get the baneling count in your advantage. The critical thing actually with this spine and the queen is that if your opponent sends in pairs of banelings, you can take out one of them, which means your own banelings can't be killed. 2 banelings to kill 2 banelings, or 2 banelings to kill a baneling is required. So being able to focus one down can be very helpful. Now we do see Tropa has his evolution chamber just finishing up. However, we do have the hatchery here being morphed into a lair. One of the ESL admins is unfortunately talking to me. I don't know why I'm not on... I am on busy mode. Like, look here. That is definitely busy mode. So I don't know how he's talking to me. But anyway, we do have, of course, now a little bit of a run by coming through, though. I am sorry about that. StarCraft's been bugging out a bit there with me being set busy, but still people able to talk to me. Anyway, Tropa, coming down here, gonna go and take that third hatchery there. Simultaneously, though, we've got IdrA taking his third. These are pretty much on the money with each other. They're within like half a second. That's pretty cool. But IdrA gonna get the scat out first. He's sending 4 speedlings up and in there, which may not seem like a particularly large number of speedlings, but when your opponent has no speedlings to defend with, it can be problematic. A lot of zerglings, though, are in production. They're coming over. Tropa should be able to hold this off. May avoid forcing the counter. Definitely will now. Bit of damage done, but IdrA only for 4 lings. That's what, 100 minerals. Nothing really to be too concerned about, especially when you're up on the work account. And that work account lead has been gained by the fact that Tropa just got all of the speedlings. IdrA, meanwhile, getting the Spire down. And this is where IdrA is vulnerable. Massively so. He does not have a big army supply. He does not have many minerals banked up, and his opponent is coming at him with a lot of the pressure. The third hatchery probably going to be forced to cancel here. If IdrA's able to hold this, I would be very impressed. That Baneling gets taken down. That was one of the few defensive Banelings that IdrA had, the only one actually remaining. And now Tropa with his own Banelings is starting to walk forward. Can he get good connections? Does he even need good connections? The answer is no, he doesn't. He has just so many speedlings here at the moment. His own Banelings wandering up here. They are just chilling by a Spine Crawler. Unusual use of speedlings there. The third hatchery is going to be allowed to finish, but Tropa's still sending in more units. IdrA doing his utmost to try and save this. He knows with his opponent's third up, if this goes down, he will be in some problems. Baneling detonations do go down. IdrA keeps up his third hatch, but only just. The aggression is still going to be continuing on. We've got more Banelings morphing in. This is where IdrA has to try and decide how many speedlings to make. He doesn't have a solid look at how many workers his opponent's got, so he can't know whether he's ahead or behind in the drone count at the moment, but he should be able to assume that yes, he is, due to just how many lings are out on the field. IdrA needs to put up a good defense. He's got Mutalisks coming out, and of course, if those Mutalisks have a good time and they're able to get out on the field in a sizable number, when his opponent doesn't have any, he should be in a good point. But really, this is now just Tropa piling on the aggression. He wants to force this third to go down, and I think he's going to be able to get it here. IdrA doesn't have any units in position. The hatchery will now fall, but the first Mutalisks just popping out, and this is where IdrA suddenly takes a commanding position in this game, because there is very little these speedlings can do. They can do a nice amount of damage, but as long as there's some defensive Banelings, IdrA should be okay. The concern will be Banelings coming in, but the Mutalisks will have a nice time being able to pick those off. IdrA still currently just up in the drone count, but that is changing a bit quickly as more speedlings flood across the map. The Mutalisk count starting to get higher and higher. Banelings are coming in. 2 Banelings, of course, kill drones, so they need to be focused pretty quick. IdrA trying to pull his drones back to safety, but the detonation will go down, and that gives Tropa an 8 worker lead. His own lair is about 2/3 finished at the moment, but Tropa being forced to retreat. His third hatchery is being used for nothing but production of speedlings. There are no additional drones there. Some detonations did go off in the main. IdrA down just to 29 workers. He's lost 20 drones so far this game, and of course that third hatch is not back up. 2 Mutalisks unfortunately seem to have missed the memo that the Mutalisks are flying across the map. IdrA just trying to find any units that may be around to pick them off. Emergency spores coming down. This is really the only option for Tropa at the moment, apart from putting on pressure. He needs to keep those Mutalisks back, buying him time to get some anti-air, just so they can't come and wreck the game for him. IdrA holding on nicely now, though, and since there are no Banelings out for Tropa, the speedlings are able to help quite nicely, and the reason we don't see Tropa getting a couple of Banelings is just because they could be focused by this large 16 Mutalisk flock incredibly quickly, and therefore would never close up the distance. But Tropa, he's droned. He's gone for it. He's taken the brave move of holding down the D key, and is it going to pay off for him? Well, with spores around, he can deal a lot of damage. Of course, Spore Crawler's magnificently effective against Mutalisks, but only for a small time. Once the Mutalisk flock starts getting absolutely ginormous, generally when you start seeing like the 20 to 30 mark, Spore Crawlers alone aren't too scary. So what is Tropa doing? He's trying to catch up on the Mutalisk count. But as we all know, catching up with Mutalisks can be difficult. On the plus side for Tropa, he's actually 24 workers up. That is good. His economy is skyrocketing. He's also got this magical third hatchery that is now mining minerals and gas for him. It's allowing him the opportunity to potentially catch up. Unfortunately, he's at 0 Mutalisks to 20. By the time his Spire finishes, he can probably just about afford 9, maybe 10 meters, but he's going to have a bit of a problem. He does have 1 ground carapace upgrade, but no air upgrades. Neither, though, does IdrA. That's the only problem. The Spore Crawler does go down. This hatchery now looking to be in a bit of problems. Tropa desperately trying to hold up these Mutalisks. What Tropa needs is some infestors. But does he have the money to do it? Infestors would allow him to potentially fungal growth the clumps of Mutalisks. These hero drones here are actually going to force retreat out of those zerglings. The Spore Crawler still up. Seriously, look at how clumped those Mutalisks went there. 1 good fungal could end it. IdrA not attempting to take a third yet, whereas the third for Tropa is still up. Tropa's still up in the drone count too, even though he must be over. Where is he? How is he? Okay, no, it's all good. The math does work. He's got drones mining gas. That's why it seems like there's so few minerals there. Mutalisks now for Tropa, retreating back. Currently the Mutalisk count is 18 to 11, but with Spore Crawlers, the defender's advantage may be enough for Tropa. But IdrA coming in with some Banelings now. The detonations don't desperately need to go down as there are not many drones here, but the Spine Crawler will fall. The Spore Crawlers need to get taken out to give these Mutalisks some free run. Tropa trying to get over here to pick these off to keep the Spore Crawler alive, but it's not going to be able to do so. He's going to have to retreat back now due to having a much smaller Mutalisk flock. Is engaging. This is not a good engagement for Tropa. Even though he's got those Spore Crawlers there, it is not helping him significantly enough. IdrA in a good spot. Offensively GGing here. IdrA thinks he's got it in the bag. Can Tropa keep holding? He's got really not too much as an option. He's a 2 to 16 Mutalist, but Tropa is still up in the worker count. Admittedly, he's just lost his third, but his income should still be better, even on equal basis, and that's because, well, IdrA just isn't fully saturated. Not to mention the fact Tropa does have more minerals in the bank, although what he really needs is Vespian. He needs to get some more gas just so that he is able to get some more Mutalisks. I cannot emphasize enough how important more Mutalisks are going to be for Tropa. He's got to try and get up a sizable number. He could also really do with Infestors. I can't stress that enough. Some Infestors would be fantastic for him. It would give him the shot. The only way you can deal with more Mutalisks on your opponent's side is some Infestors, because a fungal growth, if you can chain fungal them, you can knock out an entire Mutaflock of basically infinite size. But you've got to have good trades. IdrA's problem at the moment, the reason he can't just come and end this game, right, it's because of how many Spore Crawlers are at this natural base. IdrA just doesn't have an option to push in, but he can deny expansions. He's doing a good job of that. He's not taking his own expansion yet, though. He is now just bringing the drone up. Is going to start it up, which is good news. These Mutalisks playing a brave game. IdrA telling his opponent he can leave, but the thing is, if we learn anything from that 3-hour game yesterday, Tropa can still hold on. And you never know, it might just work. Poor Tropa. Tropa, you gave him a love heart. You're trying your utmost. I still maintain Tropa is not out of this. His economy is better than that of IdrA's for the time being. When this third hat-trick's coming up, that will shake up a bit. It may not be the case. Income-wise, Tropa just slightly higher. The gas income is pretty similar, but it's the Mutaflock. The only way to stop that is with this Infestation Pit. If Infestors can come out, if miracle fungal growths happen, and he traps all of those Mutalisks, then maybe Tropa can come back, even against this seemingly unkillable force. But +1 flyer carapace is coming down to IdrA. That means Muta on Muta will always go in his favor. Poor Tropa. He's only 15 and he's playing so valiantly. He deserves some credit for that, I reckon. IdrA, though, is playing really solid too. He's denied expansions. He held off that constant aggression from Tropa so effectively. He may have lost his third, but he just got the Mutalisks out. It was great play, and this is where the control really comes for IdrA now, but he can't break this. With pathogen glands coming down, IdrA does need to be a little bit cautious, just in case. And Tropa is doing the right thing. He's trying to expand out. He's like, okay, well, IdrA must have pulled back. Can I get up this expansion? And he needs to. It is a risk getting this expansion. However, Tropa has a good amount of minerals, and he needs to get those extra gas. I believe he is oh no, he's not aware yet that IdrA is retaking this third, but he can probably assume that it is down. A lot of speedlings on the field now. They are running about. Just taking a quick little look at where everything is. IdrA keeping an eye out just on fringe expansions in case he's expanding somewhere unusual, and that's a smart move by IdrA. You need to know where your opponent's going. +2 flyer carapace is also coming down now, but pathogen glands nearly done and the infestors are coming out. IdrA does not have an infestation pit of his own, so he cannot counter these infestors with fungal growths of his own against the Mutalisk flock, and the Mutalisk flock is still double the size though for IdrA. Really, the circumstances for Tropa to have a chance to win this game now is it that IdrA has to stack up these Mutalisks, allowing chain fungals to go down. If that happens, then Tropa will be able to kill the Mutalisk flock and can negate the effectiveness of the superior upgrades and superior Mutalisk count. But if IdrA plays this well, spreads his Mutalisks as he's doing now, great move really, then the fungal growths will not deal the critical amount of damage to all of the Mutalisks that they need to be able to do for him to win the game. However, Tropa does now have his third up once more. With this third, can he make something cool work? He's got a decent number of spores. There's actually 8 spore crawlers down on the map. Here they all are, darting around. We've got 2 more spines adding on only to the 1. Okay, so spine crawlers are a bit low on the count, but that's fine. Army supply, pretty similar actually. IdrA is still up a little way. About, well, 4 more drones and 11 more army supply. Not a massive chunk, but it's a small lead. He's also got that gas income, but then so does Tropa. IdrA, though, is still mining a bit more in terms of gas. Where is he getting all of that extra gas from? This is what's confusing me. Hang on. Oh, okay, no, IdrA's just banking gas. That's why. I was sitting there thinking, hang on, where's all that? Why is that extra gas not going somewhere? But he's just banking it up at the time being, waiting to see exactly what comes out. May need to make some more banelings, so keeping that though. He is getting some more banelings, some more mutalisks out too. Probably wondering what's going on Tropa's side. A couple of Zerglings are trying to get a run by, but they're going to get taken down. Meanwhile, IdrA also running a singling round the side. Just realizing, hang on, I haven't checked this base. Better make sure he doesn't have anything there, and we'll see that. Nope, okay, that's good. No base here, no base here. I guess I'm safe. He's not got a hidden expansion, so I should have more stuff. IdrA has 37 mutalisks with +2 carapace, +1 air weapons is also coming down. But there are the infestors. Have they been seen yet? IdrA can't see the dangerous, scary infestors. He's literally running away from being able to see them. But some fungal growths would be just oh so good. Tropa also getting down on Roach Warren. The Roach Warren is an interesting choice at this stage. May help against the banelings, but not too much else. Some big baneling hits would cause a problem. And this is the issue for Tropa. He needs so much APM to be able to effectively control these Zerglings so they don't get killed by banelings. He also needs to make sure that his fungal growths are good and his mutalisk control is good. All very important. Has IdrA now seen these infestors? I don't believe he has yet. He hasn't seen the infestation pit. Does he know? He should see any moment the infestors being hidden until the last possible moment. They're still wandering around. This is where things start getting a bit more crazy. Tropa's gonna go for it. Can Tropa do it? IdrA, split your mutalisks. There we go. Mutalisks are getting split up. This is good times. Infested Terrans getting thrown forward just out of the vision of IdrA. Here we go. The engagement is going to be coming down. In come all of those infestors. The fungal growths are good, but IdrA has managed to split up his mutalisks. That means they can't get chain fungal. Brilliant control here from IdrA and Tropa. He's valiantly trying to push in here. The infested Terrans dealing some nice damage, but there are just so many mutalisks. They are absolutely incredibly high in number. The infested Terrans getting taken down. The infested energy is now at 0. Tropa, he almost did it. And GG's out. That was a really good game. I enjoyed that. IdrA won, so anyone who wants to start flaming that I only cast games where IdrA loses, unfortunately, you'll have to go and find one of my previous videos just to leave that comment. But yeah, I think IdrA played that well. His defensive play was really solid. I like the way that he did held that off well. He kept a drone lead. Just a couple of banelings got him in a bad spot. But since he had mutalisks, he was actually quite fine holding on for a little longer. So Tropa, well done. You did put up a good effort. Nice expansion timing that third, and then just getting a ton of Zerglings and banelings worked well. It could have won you the game if it wasn't for that greedy spire. But that was fun. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did like the video, leave a cool comment and subscribe. All of those good stuff. And I'll see you tomorrow for yet another new cast. I'm Madals. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.